happy Thursday. We're back together again.
We are.
Nobody said yay. I was excited, but okay.
Petey's face right now.
So unamused. Nothing. Literally.
I want a thought bubble above his head right now.
I do have something to say. We just came from the More Furniture Watch area, and the Diamondbacks are playing today, and it's late in the game, right?
Why can't our game?
It's
start at
11 o'clock in the morning, and it's almost
Yeah.
over. Like, yes, please, Coyotes on a what day of the week is this? Thursday? Like
Not
11
nice.
a.m. on a Thursday, and the game's almost over.
Our post-game shows would be
Buddy.
so elite.
Yes.
Petey, they play double the games that you guys do.
Fair point. Yeah, I don't want 162. No.
Yeah, that would be tough.
But no, wait, I'm all for day games. Let's go. But somebody did say this Australian thing, those games are going to be like late here, like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I was hoping for day games. That's not the case.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I don't think you guys will be doing post-game shows.
No, not for preseason. Anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes Podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah here with Craig and Petey. All right, well, Troy Stecher will be joining our show in about...
He's on the ice right now.
He
Is he?
is?
Yeah, he's
And
going to
about-
come off the ice, so.
Okay, in about 25 minutes, so stick around for Troy Stecher. But in the meantime, we did get to hear from Matias Maccelli this morning after he signed a 3-year contract extension over the weekend. Craig, set the scene about where Matias Maccelli was for this media availability.
I'll take the blame for it because I did ask him to flex about it, but he's in Santorini right now, which, wow. Like, I'd rather be in Santorini than here right now. Although it's very hot in the Mediterranean as well. It's pretty brutal there right now, but I'm guessing there's a
But
nice,
there's the
there's a nice
Mediterranean,
breeze on
you
Santorini.
can go in the water.
Yeah, you can jump into
And it's
the.
also Celsius, so it's not as hot, right? Isn't that how that works? No.
Let's get to Maccelli.
Oh boy. Well, we got to, as we mentioned,
Yeah.
got to chat with him, talk about signing this extension, and ask him more about it. And you'll hear, he talked about shooting more next season. But one of the first questions,
Pass
Craig,
to the back of the net, right?
yeah, pass to the back of the net. One of the first questions Craig asked was what led to the production that he had. Obviously, he's played in tons of different leagues in Finland, in the AHL with Tucson, and now with the Coyotes had the year that he had last season that made him an all-rookie in the National Hockey League. So Craig asked Matias what led to his success this season and what his focus and outlook is going to be next season, and here's what he had to say.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's a lot of hard work. Doesn't come easy, and been able to do it last year. I think it was just having a good summer and pretty much not rushing it too much and just believing in myself. And then obviously it turned out pretty well. So pretty happy about that.
We joked a lot about the need to shoot more pucks at the net. But when you look at next season, what are some of the realistic goals for you?
Yeah, obviously that's one of the big things for me next year. I gotta start shooting a little extra, and then obviously put a little weight on me, or maybe get a little stronger, so I can battle a little better too, and then obviously just get my game a little better overall.
Yeah, gonna start shooting more. We'll see. We'll see if that turns into anything. But just what was your sense of?
Well, he was a goal scorer at other
Yeah.
levels, so it's not like he can't do this. And granted, the NHL is a more elite level. I think we've talked about all the reasons behind it. He's a special player with the puck on his stick. He's a playmaker. I don't know if you cut those clips where you listen to those
we'll
in
get
a
to
minute.
those.
What goes into that sort of vision, but I think when you get to pros, and Petey can speak to this more than me, was in the room for so many years. I think you get deferential sometimes to veterans when you come up through the ranks. You're a new guy. You don't want to be the guy that's anytime it's on your stick, you're letting it rip. You're probably going to look for your teammates and again just defer to them a little more than usual.
Yeah, for sure. But that's part of it is deferring to the teammates, let them get the puck. And there were veteran players that demand, like Keith Tkachuk. You'd heard there's 2 rules. Rule number 1 is pass to me. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1.
Big Walt.
Yeah, Big Walt. Don't. So that exists. But I think the other part of Maccelli's game, with his ability to make the passes that he does make, I think that, yeah, it's okay if you're moving the puck and passing the puck. His passing is elite.
Mhm.
His ability to find plays. The the thing I'm wondering about with Maccelli with this new contract is what does it put on the expectations? And I know it shouldn't be about money, but he's paid as a top 6 forward right now.
Yep.
So he needs to play like a top 6 forward. Now, where does he slot in? Is he playing on the third line, or where does that happen? I think training camp will determine that. But now he's just under. If you look at he's just under what you're paying. Not a little bit less than Kerfoot, but Krause, he's just under these guys. Like, you got to perform. So there's added pressure on that side of it, I think. It's great you're making your money, but I'm curious to see how he handles that now that he is making the money, because we talked about that with Oliver Ekman-Larsson. When he got that big contract, that added pressure to how he performs. So we'll see how Maccelli handles that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Craig did ask him about his vision on the ice, because, when you're on the ice, when you're determining whether to shoot or make a play, we've seen not only that he has the ability to make plays, but make plays at a high level, leading all rookies in assists, just an assist machine for this team last season. And, as much as we give him crap about not shooting, like, his playmaking ability is elite. So as for his vision on the ice, this is what Matias Maccelli had to say.
Yeah, it's always been a part of my game. Just try to look for a pass, trying to see someone backdoor open, and maybe not particularly look for the shot that much. But in the National Hockey League, sometimes you just have to shoot, because there isn't the perfect play every time. So looking to improve on that this next year for a bit. But obviously, when there's a play to make, I'm most likely gonna make it.
And that's the key for me with what you were saying, PD, too. Like, it's okay to be moving the puck. It's okay to be making elite plays. You want that kind of player on your team. But there were instances where he should have shot the puck. There were instances where he had the best play. The best play was to shoot the puck, and he passed on it sometimes. So, and I think he understands that. Andre has driven home that message. So it'll be interesting to see if he can actually implement that change in his game.
Yeah, and it's not the interesting thing to me is where he's going to slot out in the lineup through training camp, because you saw how he played and how well he played with Lawson Krause and their ability to find each other on the ice. It was a really good pair, a tandem together. I'm curious to see if day one of training camp that those two players, if they start out together, because now there's so many more options up front than they had a year ago. To see if, you got to get Kerfoot in there, you get Zucker in there. So where do they fit in the line?
Boogie fit well between them.
Yeah.
So
and Boogie was there great to start. Yeah. And then when he left, McBain filled right in, and that line was really successful. So you're right. I would love to see Bukestad with Krause and Maccelli to start training camp. And then you start talking about the depth of this forward group. Now, is that your second line, or is that your third line? And some days that might be your first line, because they might be the most productive line. I think you're going to see, with the addition of these forwards, and I think that's where Maccelli taking a step forward this year is really going to help the depth of their forward 12.
Yeah, I feel like we could literally do a show every day till the season where we just come up with a different lineup every single day. Yeah. And somehow none of them will be correct.
They do that in the Discord if you want to see it.
They do.
Yes, they do.
They do that in the Discord. But what I thought was interesting, when, again, back to Maccelli's passing abilities, he made a really good point about how he's become so proficient in his passing, and you'll see it here in this clip. So
yeah, I asked him if it, you hear about vision all the time. Like, can you work on vision? I mean, you can to an extent, I guess, in some drills, but some of it's innate.
It is innate.
Yeah, you just have that ability.
Especially at the pace that's happened at. Like, you look at the American League and his ability to put up points down in Tucson, but then you go to the NHL and things happen so much faster in the National Hockey League. But him to carry that part of his game and didn't miss a beat from his step from Tucson to the NHL was really impressive. And you go back last season and watch some of his assists and some of the plays he made, the no-look passes, and he, especially when they were on the second group of the power play, his no-look passes that fooled defending goaltenders and the defensemen on the penalty kill, they bet on his no-look, and he was able to set up really pretty goals. He's impressive. This kid's a really good hockey player. So when you look at that contract and you see a guy making over $3 million a year, he deserves it. And I think people around the league, We'll start to know his name. I think last year was the introduction, but I think you're going to start to know who Matias Maccelli is.
He's definitely starting to get that national attention. And something he was also asked about in this press conference was about, like, do you feel like now that you're more well known that it's going to be even harder because now teams are going to know who you are and try and defend you in a different way? And that's incredibly valid too. So I think that we'll have to see if he takes a step forward this season, continues to ride that wave up, or if he's going to have a little, you call it the sophomore slump when taking a step back because teams are going to approach him differently.
Yeah, and that's what Andre's talking about, where you can't be a one-trick pony with the playmaking. You got to add things to your arsenal because the league adjusts to you.
And we saw that with Clayton Keller too. His second year, his first year, he put up some really good numbers, and then teams the next year go, oh, we better keep an eye on this number 9. This kid can play.
Yeah.
Does Maccelli get some of that in this second season? The one thing I think that is fortunate for him is at that time Keller was the guy. Like, Keller was still a top line winger putting up those kind of numbers in his second sophomore season. Maccelli doesn't have that kind of pressure because Keller, guess what? He's still here,
guy,
and he's still the guy. So I think Maccelli, it's hard to defend that. And then you put a second line together, whether that's where Zucker or Kerfoot or McBain or however this shakes out. When I say second, I mean another line, not necessarily second in the depth chart. So you have those. You can't defend against everybody. Like, you can't put up your top defending forwards and defensemen against everybody. So I think he is still going to get his opportunities. Curious to see if he gets more power play time this season with the additions to this lineup, or if he's still going to be on that second power play group. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. But I do want to play the clip where he talks about why he passes so much, and the question was, is this innate or something practice? And you might be surprised a little bit by his answer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know, but I don't see it coming from drills or anything. It's just being a kid and playing around, and sometimes having not a goalie, so there's no point of shooting in practice. You're just trying to make plays and having fun with the guys, and I think that's where it comes from.
I love that. Like, there's no goalie in practice, so might as well just try and make plays.
That's what they said when Craig and I were at practice. There's no goalie.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Craig.
That's right, buddy.
It's true, though.
True on many levels. Yep.
Yes.
Oh,
just most of all, after watching that, I'd really like to be in Santorini.
Yeah.
Right
What
now.
the hell? Also, like, at Coyotes weddings worldwide, when we had Bukestad on, he was just at Troy Stecher's wedding. And in the press conference, Maccelli said that he was just at Valimaki's wedding. And then I think the Krause wedding is this week. So just this, and Kerfoot.
We talked about this yesterday's show. We were talking about wedding, and we need to have a wedding show. Right?
Yes.
Was that yesterday?
No, that was...
It was sometime.
Tuesday.
Wait, whatever. It was sometime in the week that we needed to talk about weddings. We need to do, this could be another segment, this destination wedding thing. It's great when all your friends are millionaires, but what if you're not? Hey, let's fly to Santorini for the weekend. Buddy. And I'm supposed to buy you
Niagara Falls, buddy.
Yeah, a toaster on top of that, too? Let's go to Hawaii. Really? Here's a toaster and a serving set. Like, bite me. Like, that's, no.
I got here. That's enough.
Yes.
I had a friend who got married in Bermuda. I was like, really?
But so my vacation has to be your wedding.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was fun.
Can we
vacation
Zoom
in
weddings?
Santorini. Zoom weddings were a thing.
Well, let's do it again. I don't even have to change clothes. I can just put like a little tie on. Go.
We had 60 people on Zoom for our wedding.
Perfect.
There was only 15 people there.
I attended a Zoom wedding in February 2021.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm all in.
Here's
that's brilliant.
It doesn't need to be a toaster, Petey. A good universal gift could be Wink.
You know what? It's funny that you talk about Wink. And Wink should be at weddings, because when you run hot like me, a little bit of Wink goes a long way. Did you know that? So what is Wink? People don't know what Wink is. Wink's a new sponsor, and we got the Wink cans right here, so you get to see them. Oh, how big a Wink can is. It's like one of those mini soda cans you get at the store. It is a seltzer with a wink of THC. How high will it get you? Just a wink. And just a wink, and that's why they call it Wink. Summer's not a spectator sport, so grab an ice cold Wink and go play. And I will say this, because we talk about these different products, and I wanted to try it. I don't THC or CBD, but I winked, and I will say this, and it's for people that haven't tried it. This is 100% real. This is my true story. It's what happened to me. I run hot. I'm very anxious, and people talk about my anxiety here often. So I winked. And I will say this, I wasn't intoxicated. I wasn't impaired. I was just chill. And
How'd you get home from Tijuana?
It did. It didn't calm me down.
He literally texted me like, I wink, ... chill.
Yeah, chill. So for people that have never experimented with THC or CBD, why this is a good product, because it's called a microdose, which means it's a small dose. It's not like gummies are at 10 milligrams. This is 2.5. So an entire can. You can drink it over 5-10 minutes. It's great. It's just seltzer water, no calories, no carbohydrates. And 10 to 15 minutes later, you're just relaxed. It's great at the end of the day of work. So now I'm at the end of a busy day of work. I just sit and I wink. So anyway, wink. And I'm sincerely, if you got high anxiety and you just want to get that little bit of chill, don't be afraid. Try Wink. It's available in either 2.5 or 5 milligram cans. You can find Wink right here in Arizona. Look for Wink, W-Y-N-K, at all Sunday Goods dispensaries in the Valley and Botanica dispensary down in Tucson. There are now 12 states nationwide, and even recently they have launched an online ordering and home delivery to about a dozen other states. To find the fastest way to get your hands on one, go to DrinkWink, that's DrinkWYNK.com, drinkwink.com, and that's Wink.
And while you're at the dispensary, pick up a bag of our friends at OG's. Delicious gummies, something for everybody. Sleep edition, CBD THC 1-to-1 ratio with the Happy Balance gummy. They have the mixed bags of the fruits and the creams, indica, sativa, and of course the new pink lemonade flavor that just dropped June 21st, which is limited edition. So get it before it's gone. Flavoring life is what OG's is all about, and they make it so much easier with their wide range of flavors and functions. No matter what it is you need, OG's has a gummy for it. Check out OG's online at ogsbrands.com and on Instagram at OG'sBrands. You can also find their products at your local dispensary. You must be 21 or older to purchase. All right, well, actually early and punctual and perfect for this show.
Yeah.
We are now joined by returning Arizona Coyotes defenseman Troy Stecher. Troy, welcome to the PHNX Coyotes show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Second time, I think. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good to be back.
Yeah, welcome back. Where you seem to be in a car. Where in the world are you right now?
I'm in Vancouver, my hometown. I actually just got off the ice, so the gear's in the back seat. How to make this work? So
No,
yeah.
you're
Oh, it
good.
looks good,
This is
actually.
Perfect.
This is
Great shot.
perfect.
You can tell Nick Bukes that this is a way better shot than he gave us the other day.
But not as good. We just had Matias Maccelli on, and Matias Maccelli's.
I believe
He was in
in
Santorini.
You were just in Greece too, I think.
Yeah, I was there with Chelly and JJ Moser for Valimaki's wedding, so it was a great time to go celebrate his marriage with Vilma, and then obviously see some of the guys. So it was a great vacation.
I got to ask you something, though, Stech. When you go to a wedding like that, and we've often talked about your drip, and we're going to talk about your drip later.
Here it comes.
We're going to talk
There
about
it
it
is.
again later. But so what is there added pressure for you at a wedding like this that buddy, I got to bring it. Like, I got to bring it. This is a European wedding. I better show up.
It's a touchy subject. My suitcase didn't make it to Santorini.
Oh, no.
Had to go shopping.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh no.
Yeah,
my
so
God.
touchy subject. Still kind of trying to figure out where it is. They're
Oh,
lying in the
T-shirt
airport,
at the
can't
lobby bar. Oh,
Oh,
no.
it's still missing?
Wait, it's still missing?
Yeah, basically swim trunks for 3 days and
Oh.
just rip the tarp off. Just go no shirt. And embrace it.
Oh, boy.
my gosh.
Oh, no.
Oh man. Well, let's stick with fashion for a minute while we're on the subject. It was a big discussion with you last season when you walked and talked with Petey. It was mentioned, and this question I just have to read it verbatim that Craig wrote out. Do you sense potential treason around you? Will others try to steal your throne, and who is most likely?
You are the fashion king of the Coyotes, so we need to know who's coming for you.
I don't know. I think a lot of guys on the team actually have good style. Like Keller's got some really good swag. That segment I did last year, I think Valley's definitely stepped up his game. Mosey. I think Josh Brown's really sharp dressed, not too flashy, but he's a good looking dude. So
Well, the one that came
I would
to
encourage
mind,
guys to step up their game. I think it helps out.
the one guy that said he had taken over your throne and he was the guy then was Obi. O'Brien, when you left, O'Brien said he was the guy. He had the hat game
Yeah,
and he
Obi's
said
got some
he
nice
was the
suits.
guy. So
Yeah,
he's coming
got some
for
good
you.
suits. That's all right. I encourage him to I encourage the challenge, and I don't know. And the more guys that dress well, I think there's no harm in that. You look good, feel good, play good.
Absolutely.
So I want to follow up on this wedding thing because we were just talking about this before you got here. When you go to a wedding in Greece, it's obviously not a cheap venture. Like, how obligated do you feel with the gift at that point? Is the gift just, hey, I'm here and I spent a lot of money to get here? Or is there still, for us, it would probably be different. But what's the obligation on that front?
Well, I think Valley and I, well, I don't think, like, he's one of my friends, so he knows, and then his wife and my girlfriend, they're really tight, so we'll get him something in Arizona. We didn't want to travel with anything, and it was probably a good thing we didn't, since my suitcase didn't arrive. So
good point. Very good
yeah,
point.
I think it's just more like having your presence there and celebrating them. It means a lot to them, obviously, and it means a lot to us to be invited. So, those are friendships that you cherish, and that will last beyond hockey.
Okay,
Yeah,
so PD, obviously, he's spending more money on wedding gifts than we would in that situation.
Great.
Oh boy. All right. Well, let's transition to some hockey talk. And before we get to the Coyotes and all of that, you were a former UND player.
Yep. Thanks.
Yeah. And ASU just joined the NCHC, or they will next season. Do you have any thoughts on ASU joining that conference and just, for a college player being a part of that conference?
Yeah, it's obviously exciting. Like when I committed to North Dakota, they were still in the WCHA, so the NCHC wasn't a thing. And then going in as a freshman, that was the first year of that league. So I know the whole landscape of college hockey changed at that time. Obviously, the Big Ten created their league, and the NCHC created our league. So we took a lot of pride in just in playing that league, having really good programs, be a part of it, and making sure that it was one of the top leagues in the nation. And we prided ourselves on that. And if you want to get into it, I think the statistics speak for itself with the past national championships since that occurred. And Duluth won twice, Denver's won. I won it with North Dakota. So there's been a lot of success. So for Arizona to get invited it's a huge testament to their program and what they've done up to this point. So it's exciting for Arizona hockey in general.
Yeah, 5 of the past 7 national champions have come from that conference. So clearly, they're doing something right. It'll be a big step up for ASU. They're going to have to really up their game. I wanted to ask you another thing before we get to hockey. You're currently raising money for Diabetes Canada. I'll let you speak on this, what your connection is to this cause, and what you hope to accomplish, Troy.
Yeah, I lost my dad in 2020 on Father's Day, unfortunately, to diabetes complications. So it's something that's close and dear to my heart, and I tried starting a golf tournament years back, and just COVID, it was too difficult trying to get people to attend, and with all the restrictions. So now that everything's kind of back to normal lifestyle that it used to be, I figured I'd kind of change avenues. And there's so many local NHL players in the Vancouver area, and it seems like we all kind of skate in small little groups around the Lower Mainland. Whether you guys might not understand, but there's Vancouver, Delta, Burnaby, North Van, West Van. So just to, kind of bring everybody together for a 1-week camp at the end of August to prepare for training camp, I think would be beneficial for everybody. And then at the same time, obviously trying to raise money for Diabetes Canada, which is close to me. So we have a link out there that I think you guys have already provided to fans.
In the chat right now.
If you want to send a donation, it's greatly appreciated. And it'd mean a lot to me. And that's all I really have to say. I get emotional still at times talking about it, and that's just a part of life.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing that. We want to talk a little bit about your decision to come back here. And when I spoke to you by phone after you signed, you delivered probably the quote of the summer for the Coyotes. I know they loved hearing that. Clearly, there's some issues to be resolved here in Arizona, most notably with the arena. And the outside perspective is what it is on the Coyotes. You said when I talked to you that you had sort of that same perspective until you got here, and then things changed a little bit. So maybe you can dive into all of that again, what you learned from your experience here in Arizona, and why that made you so comfortable coming back here again.
I could touch on so many different avenues that I enjoyed, and I know everybody on our team enjoys, but the fan market, I know we play in Mullet, we don't have the largest arena, and then obviously when I was playing on other teams going to Glendale, there wasn't that many seats or fans in the seats. So You obviously think it might not be a hockey market. Then you get down here and they're packing mullet. You see the support. Practicing at the ice, then you see how big like minor hockey is and how much it's grown in the valley. And then on the other side of it, like what Bear's done with Mar and Mads and the coaching staff and the culture they've created and the expectations that they hold with the standard. It's just something you want to be a part of as a player. And I know we don't interact often with the management group, but I really think Bill's done a really good job in bringing in like some better players every single year. And progressively, I think it's going in the right direction. And it's just a great place to live. It's a great place to play hockey. And last but not least, like there's so many good guys on the team. And I know it's tough, like it's a team sport, but I think once you get to this level, some people or some players are, kind of focused on their individual careers, and they should to a certain extent, but there's that team aspect in Arizona where it's kind of something I've never felt before, at least at this level. And it's a lot of fun to be on a team like that where everybody cares about each other and everybody cares about each other's success and wants the best for everybody. So it was just like a hard decision not to say no. It was a kind of a no-brainer for me to want to come back.
Awesome. Well, I think one of the themes of this offseason, as we've seen with you coming back, with Bukestad coming back, with Jason Zucker coming into the picture, Alex Kerfoot, it feels like the team's going to take a little bit of a step forward next year. Just from your mind, what are your realistic expectations for this season for the Coyotes?
Well, for me, like as a player, you obviously want to win the Stanley Cup and you want to make the playoffs. And I know people might like kind of going back to the quote I had earlier where, you don't really understand it until you're a part of it. But if we can take that next step and fight for a playoff spot, then I think we're doing the right things. And I don't see why there should be a reason that we wouldn't do that. And it's great that we brought in all these new players that are, at a different caliber and have a different pedigree and are super good players in this league. But at the same time, it's one thing to say, it's another thing to show up and actually do it and put in the work. So the onus is on us players to come in every day, make sure that we're putting our best foot forward. And I think if everybody does that as a collective group, that's how you take the next step. And that's what this organization is trying to do, is take that next step. And, as a player in this league, I want to be a part of that group and try to help them.
So we talked about that as a team and the focus of the team. And I think this team is better, again, we'll say on paper, than they were a year ago. Let's talk about your personal situation here. You look at a year ago, this is a team that coming into camp, Jacob Chychrun, Gostisbehere, Nemeth, a little bit older, more experienced defensive core. Now you're looking, Jersey's coming in, Mosier, Valimaki, they're still young guys. So now you look around the room and you're that veteran presence. Does your role change at all this season versus what you came into last year in Phoenix?
I don't think so. Maybe a little bit with the on-ice performance. You touched on it, like Ghost and Chick were such, high-profile players in this league and, offensively super gifted. So I think naturally, as myself, being a player that wants to play every night, I had to adjust into a different role that I may have not played on other teams in years past. And I took a lot of pride in playing, solid defensively, trying to like match up against some of the top lines and taking a lot of pride on the PK. And once I got traded to Calgary, I was kind of shifting into a different role and my offensive numbers kind of jumped up. So I think my on-ice performance and my role might be a little bit different just based on personnel. But as far as, being myself and how I'm going to interact with guys in the locker room, I'm just going to continue to be myself. And I think that's what you would want. You don't want leaders that are going to be fake. You want leaders to be themselves. And there's different ways to lead. I think, you look at Kells. He's probably the most high-profile player in Arizona. He's not very vocal, but he leads by example on the ice every single night, and how skilled he is with his work ethic on the ice and in the games. And there's just different ways you can lead, and I'll just do my part however they ask me to.
I have one question to follow up with Calgary. You got an opportunity to go to a team that's trying to make a run in the playoffs, and you get those games that are important late in the season, and you have a different energy than you did here. Clearly, not you personally, but it's different. It's different playing games that matter at the end of the year. We said the same thing to Nick Bukestad. Do you think you can take that experience that you got at Calgary at the end of the year and playing in meaningful games and help bring some of that intensity environment here to Arizona?
I would definitely hope so, but I think it's easier said than done. you got to remember and understand that it's an 82 game season. Like, it's so long, and you're going to go through ebbs and flows, and you're going to have high points and low points. So more than anything, I think teams that do make the playoffs and teams that are really successful, they're super consistent, and it seems like they can, work through their peaks and valleys to a lot better extent than some of the lower end teams. So for us, hopefully we can just trend in the right direction constantly and not go through these lull stretches throughout the season.
One last question before we let you go, Troy. What's the rest of the summer hold for you? What are your plans, and when will you be down in Arizona? And by the way, I would recommend it's not anytime soon, given the weather we're having.
I'm just going to stay here in Vancouver, keep training and skating Monday to Friday. I've actually been with this group since grade 8 in high school.
Wow.
The same trainer and the same group of guys. And it's funny, there's 6 of us that are in the NHL now, and if you would have asked us back in grade 8 if that would be the case, we'd all probably say no. So I'll just stay here locally at home, spend some time with my friends and family, make sure I'm putting my best foot forward in the weight room and on the ice, and then try to get on the golf course as much as I can. And then I'll be back down in Arizona September 4th and getting ready to go to Australia. So I'm super excited.
All right. Well, that's Troy from Richmond. Thank you very much for joining us, Troy from Richmond.
Thanks, Stech. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you. Man, well, thank you to Troy Stecher for joining us. Man, he's has some good quotes in there.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's unbelievable. September 4th, too. There's a wise man there.
Still hot, though.
No point in coming down here anytime soon.
Oh, buddy. Yeah, but he's definitely on that Arizona Coyotes Chamber of Commerce. Like,
Seriously.
selling the program.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, man. Well, we also did drop the link to donate to Diabetes Canada for Troy Stecher. It's charity that he mentioned. So if you're able to donate or give or just even share the link, please do so if you're able. Any other notes on Troy Stecher before we move on?
I think he fits the mold of what this team is trying to do. And I think that's more I know we talked about the size of this team and they're trying to be bigger and stronger. One thing Stech does is he plays like he's big and strong, right? Like he plays like he plays like he's 6'5". The kid competes really hard. He goes into battles that you think he's outmanned and outgunned and outsized, and somehow he's able to come out with that puck. He defends well with his stick, and he doesn't hurt you on the offensive side either. I think he's a guy they're going to have to rely on more. He's going to have to do more. He's going to have to eat more minutes than he did a year ago, just because we said some of the guys are going to be out of the lineup. He does have the heart and the desire of a player that Andre Tourigny wants to have on the ice. So I think it speaks volumes that he came back, and I think he is going to be one of those guys that this team leans on when they're leading late in the game. I think they're going to look to Troy Stecher to help protect that lead.
Yeah, I also really like what he said about the team element here. I feel like it's a theme that we've heard again and again and again from all the players we talked to about how special this group is. And I know it's kind of cliche, but I think he articulated it really well when he said there's some people who are just focused on themselves, and this is the most team mindset
Ever, at this
team
level.
that he's ever been a part of in the NHL. And
That's amazing to hear.
Yeah, he's played for, a handful of teams. It's not like he's only been with 2 in his career. I just thought that was a huge testament to this locker room and the culture that exists here for the players.
Hats off to the coach for part of that.
Yeah.
Amen.
But also to Bill Armstrong for getting the right kind of people in the room, because it only takes 1 or 2.
It might get you the 6th pick instead of the 1st pick in the draft, but
it's true.
For your culture going forward,
100% right. That could
we'll
get
see
you
how
10
much
more
that matters,
goals.
right? It might matter down the road
Exactly.
that they instilled this
Get
sort of
good
culture.
people.
Yep.
Get good people.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference in creating a culture like this. It's fantastic.
Well, when Stech makes the journey down from BC to Arizona, he'll have many Circle Ks to stop along the way, and as he gets further south, it will heat up. So on all those Circle K stops for gas, I hope he goes and grabs a Polar Pop inside, because that will cool you down. And right now, you can buy Powerades at Circle K for $5, and you can be entered to be one of 10 finalists to win a 2023 Ford Big Bend Bronco SUV.
Really?
So you can just buy some Powerades and possibly win a car.
I think that's where Sean and Shane are right now.
Yeah, they are probably out of Circle K. They're on their way to Vegas for Pac-12 Media Day, so follow along PHNX Sun Devils and PHNX Wildcats for more on that. But Make sure you're not missing out on all the great stuff Circle K has to offer right now. You can text PHNX to 31310 to join their SMS subscriber club and get a buy one, get one free offer on 32-ounce Polar Pops. Head to circlek.com/store-locator to find Circle K's near you. I cannot believe he lost his suitcase, like, to go to Europe to a wedding. That is
awful.
Like,
Still doesn't have it. Still
that's
doesn't have
awful.
it back.
Like,
That's
I lost
brutal.
my suitcase for like 3 hours coming back from Nashville on the way home. Like, NBD. Losing it going to Europe.
And they still don't know what it is.
Oi.
Right.
Oi. But so if he's missing any sunglasses,
You know where you can get new ones?
Shady Rays.
Shady Rays.
Troy, listen. You can buy multiple pairs and then make sure even if you lose a pair, you still have your other pair. And especially, it looked a little cloudy and overcast in Vancouver as it usually is. But here in AZ, gotta have the sunnies. And Shady Rays, they are awesome.
And you can have a different color with every outfit.
Yeah, like they have so many different colors of so
Fit
many
his
different
fashion.
styles. Yeah. And he wears sunglasses a lot when he
Yes.
walks in, like
Shady
his
Rays.
walk-in shots. Listen, I'm going to send him the link. I'm going to send him the promo code because exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX for 50% off 2 or more pairs. So you can get multiple pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. All right, I'm going to throw it to Craig for our final segment of the show.
Yeah, we talk a lot about community here at PHNX, and the PHNX Coyotes community we know is a tightly knit group. A bunch of them came with us to Nashville. We have fans on multiple continents. I know fans in Australia, in Asia, in Europe, in South America, and of course in North America. Part of community is supporting each other, right, in times of need. And so I want to give a shout out to Michael Kolosinski and his fiancée Marta, who are in Poland. And I've known Michael a while. I've been on a couple of his podcasts. Marta, I don't want to get too in depth. Let Michael discuss that maybe in the chat if he wants to. But Marta's battled a couple brain tumors. She just beat the second one, and now she's going to go through preventative radiotherapy. So just to give you a little bit of detail, the last time we talked on his podcast, she was coming off her first surgery. Since then, she's had a skull bone infection, which led to the removal of a part of her skull and replacing it with an artificial part. Then the tumor came back 2 months ago and she had another surgery. Now she'll have to undergo what they call the lamps to make sure this does not come back yet again. She's been through a lot. She's never complained about anything, Michael says. And so we want to give her a shout out today. Hopefully put a smile on Marta's face. The entire PHNX community is behind you, Marta. This is what it's all about. You got this.
And Marta, you're a Coyotes fan. You're used to going
That's
through
literally-
struggles and coming out the other side.
Yeah.
That's what we do. So you got this for sure. I saw the Kachina head on your hat. I, as a Coyote fan, you're used to struggles and coming out the other side much better and stronger.
Yeah.
So we wish you the best.
Yeah, we're thinking of you, Marta, scratching and clawing. That's kind of what comes to mind. And anything that we can do to support you and your family through this time, we are here for you always. So the PHNX community is behind you. Absolutely. And speaking of which, if you want to join our family, become a diehard, join our Discord as well. We're always supporting each other. There's some deep conversations in the Discord. There's some lighthearted ones, but it's a great place to come together as a community. So become a diehard today. So you can join that family and get 20% off merch and events and access to Craig's diehard only pieces. There's one
Coming today on Josh Doan.
Yep, there it is. Anyway, before we wrap up here today, I've been trying to push through, but like they're watching the D-backs game at the More Furniture recliners, and like there's been some yelling. Thank God we weren't live during that home run because you would have heard it like on our mics screaming. Baseball, it's fun. The D-backs are fun, and they are fun to bet on. You can catch Petey and Jacob on PHNX Bets Daily.
Oh my God, watch the ratings soar.
At noon today on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. So head over there at noon to get Petey and Jacob's baseball bets. There's tons of stuff to bet on the BetMGM Sportsbook app. And if you haven't signed up for the app yet, make sure you use the bonus code PHNX When you do, there's a few different offers depending on where you live, but for our Arizona audience, place your first bet offer and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses with BetMGM. Again, make sure you use the bonus code PHNX. Check out the show notes for full details. And now you can listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-522-4700 Nevada. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., Kansas, Nevada, New York, or Ontario.
I just want to address Tim's question or point in the chat. We need a GoFundMe page for Marta. I will reach out and find out if there is something, and if we do get something, we will put it on the Discord.
Yeah,
okay.
and on tomorrow's show.
And on tomorrow's show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's our community. Patrick Brown, speaking of Coyotes community, is joining our show live tomorrow in studio. I don't know if he's down because he has 3 young kids at home, but I might be drinking a Four Peaks beer. It's Friday.
I will be for sure. It's
Friday beers, if you will.
Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday.
He better bring it. And I don't mean bring the beer, although he could bring the beer, but we have plenty of Four Peaks here.
Should I bring my beer funnel that I used at Four Peaks for Patrick?
We make
Patrick do beer.
His wife's gonna tune in at 11 a.m. like with the 3 kids at home.
Buddy, with 3 kids at home, he'll be ready for a beer.
At 11 a.m.
Oh wow. Yeah.
We'll get you an Uber home, Patrick.
Yes.
Oh boy, we got to make sure the fridge is stocked with wows. You can check out Four Peaks wherever you buy your beer.
Yes.
I'm going up north this weekend. I'm going to the store tonight to buy some wows and peach ales, my favorite. You can also check out the A Street Pub. Great food there as well. So you can check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. Must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks. Please drink responsibly. All right. Anything before we get out of here?
No, I'm ready for Friday Fun Day.
Me too.
Let's go.
Yeah, dad jokes. More dad jokes.
Yep.
Woo! It's going to be fun for me. I'm just kidding. I love it. Thank you again to Troy Stecher for joining us today. Appreciate his time. Thank you all for being here in the chat. Hit the like button on this video if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on audio and you haven't left us a review, go and do so. I actually went and read some of them yesterday, and I appreciate everybody's kind words there as well. Aw, Marta is literally crying right now. Thank you so much, Marta. We love you. We're cheering for you. This is your fan base. Like, we are cheering for you.
Yeah, Hashtag one pack.
Hashtag one pack. Hashtag scratching and clawing. It's the Coyotes way. So we appreciate you all. And yeah, this is a great family, and we're so grateful to be a part of it. Like we mentioned, we'll be live again tomorrow at 11. So join us live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. all throughout the off season. So subscribe to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. You can follow us on Twitter at Craig S. Morgan, at Liam Merrill, at S. Peters Hockey, at Jacob_Franklin4, and the show at PHNX_Coyotes. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, everybody, and we will see you all tomorrow for Friday Fun Day.